I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned some jazz today, and you gon' learn some jazz today.
What's up, guys? In this episode, we're talking about money, baby. Liz teaches us how to think about money, how to make money, and why money's important. So tune in, please.
In a back, run around the back and pull up the track, cause yeah.
Guys, look, it's not very often we ask you for a favor, but we have a few special requests for you.
Social media. Follow us, tag us, share us to your best friends.
Passion to Profit Podcast.
Let them try to go and see, taking the heights like Andy's.
What's up, everybody? Who wants to talk about money?
Money, baby. Are we starting right now?
Oh, we're starting.
We started. We don't start. Let me stand. Let me sit up so I don't look like a problem kid. There's a lot of green going on right now, and I find that ironic.
Oh, yeah. Green glasses.
Serendipitous. Got green glasses, got a green mat,
Green eyes.
Green sweater, and a pocket full of green. Let's talk about money. So what? First off, let's give I think the best way to start is maybe you give the people your mindset around dollar bills.
Okay.
Like, why is money important? Why do you care about money? How do you think about money before you start getting into the real content?
Right. So I think it's important to start with this statement that might be hard for some people to hear,
I like that green Kirk.
might make you a little uncomfortable, but I love me some money.
Me too.
I love money.
You know what? Being rich is never a bad idea, and I always tell people that. Having money is never bad. I don't care what country you live in.
Yeah.
And all right, that's all around.
In general, having money is usually a helpful thing.
Yeah.
Such a two. Like, we can help more people. But yeah, money solves a lot of problems. I mean, you come from, Jamaica, the Caribbean. There's a lot of islands there that money could help a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of schools, a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
So I think before we get into money, I want to make one thing super clear that kind of explains my money philosophy. And Vince, I know you've heard me talk about this a million times, but I want to explain this concept before we get into everything else, because everything else about me and everything I talk about won't make any sense if you don't understand this part first. And that is that our thoughts control our feelings, which lead directly to our actions and our results. So if you look at, I always do our audit in the beginning of the year, and you write down the 10 categories of life: romantic relationships, family, experiences, finances, physical health, mental health, friendships, all the different main categories in life. And you rate them from 0 to 10. 0 is not where you want to be. 10 is where you want to be. And I think, and you look at that scorecard, I believe that our reality is a direct reflection of our thoughts. Period. End of story. And I say that because I have plenty of sections that my thoughts are certainly the reason things aren't where I want them to be. And then I have other areas where my thoughts are certainly the reasons they are where I want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense? Does that, tell me how you feel about that statement.
I feel like it. I feel like you're hitting a nail on the head.
Yeah.
Right? I do think your perception is your reality. I don't think I can really disagree with that. How you view the world, how you think about things, is your reality.
100%.
You can't have a different reality. That's
No.
impossible. So I agree with you on that 100%.
And what you think about persists. That's why people get
Go ahead, sorry.
You're either gets you in flow state and you're vibrating positively and high and that abundance is coming back at you, or you're in a downward thought spiral and it just keeps getting worse and it persists. What you think about persists, and that's what leads to your results.
So you say one of the first things is just your mindset around money, right? So you gave us the cloudy. What does that actually mean? What is an unhealthy mind around money? What's a healthy mind?
All right, let me ask you this, Vince.
In your opinion,
when you think about abundance, how does it make you feel?
That's just a deep question.
So think about it for a minute. When you think
I,
about,
I imagine the ocean.
okay,
Like I'm in the middle of an ocean. It's dark out.
okay,
It's like peanut butter and jelly,
peanut butter and jelly.
and it's like, God damn, there's a lot of water.
But how does it make you feel?
Here we go, asking me feeling questions.
I know. Well, and the
if-
reason is that if you don't know what abundance feels like, you can't have abundant feelings.
Click
Like that,
that.
guys? Let's try
Click
one more
that.
time. If you don't know what abundance feels like, you won't be able to create those thoughts that lead to those feelings of abundance.
This is perfect. So, what does abundance feel like?
So you really don't know the answer. Like you couldn't describe it for me.
I think I just imagine like a water.
But how do you feel?
I feel full.
Full. Not lacking. You feel full.
Oh.
Satisfied.
I gotta answer right.
No, this is just genuinely like
No,
an
I'm just-
exercise.
No, this is good. I think I'm a perfect person for this.
And again, you guys, I am not a money coach. That I spend a lot of time learning about it because I find it interesting. So I'm not an expert here, but I do think that you have to understand what abundance feels like. So how I would answer it if I thought about it, which obviously I don't think about this on a regular, it's very subconscious, I think. The goal is to get where it's all just like subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
But abundance feels to me, and it feels different for all of you. And I tend to I'm always like high on the happiness, high on that optimism. So like my happy, like you could be at a 2 and be just as happy as me. I just am like, anyway. So I think the abundance, it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel loved, satisfied, excited, enthusiastic, grateful. I feel such gratitude. Those are the top feelings that come to my mind. And so the great thing about that, Vince, is that when you recognize and define and put some definition behind the feelings of abundance, what's even better than knowing how abundance feels is knowing what scarcity feels like, so that as you go throughout your day, you can start to take note of those vibrations throughout your body and your mind that are either positive or negative, abundant or scarce.
Mm.
So how does scarcity feel to you?
I mean, lack would be the first answer, but I feel like, yeah, it's not having enough. Like always.
How does it make you feel though?
I hate it
Why do you hate it?
because who doesn't want to have a lot?
What do you not like about it?
For me, it's like a power thing.
So it makes you feel powerless.
Yeah,
So the feeling would be the feeling of powerlessness,
yeah, not in control,
lack of control,
Insignific-
out of control.
out of control, insignificant.
And the feeling of inadequacy or insignificance.
Yeah, like
Yep.
I'm an ant.
Do you ever feel feelings of so for me, I would feel maybe nervous or afraid or fearful or scared. Do you ever feel those things in terms of scarcity?
Like in just period.
Just like when you're having those feelings of not enough.
Oh yeah, I don't feel good at all. I think I feel like I definitely will feel anxious,
That's a perfect word.
and then
Anxious.
but like I instantly go like into like I gotta change, I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I start feeling like scarcity or like
Mm-hmm.
lack or like boxed in. So let's go back to my like in the water. I'm just kind of like. So let me change the analogy. I said dark. Let's say abundance is like on the beach. I just came back from Turks.
I know. I was like, how about
So
some turquoise waters?
I'm in the water. I'm just like floating. I'm on my
Yeah.
back. I'm chilling. It's a vibe. I feel full. I feel warm. That's abundance. And then scarcity is like darkness. I'm like, there's so much water around. I can't see anything, and I'm like sinking little by little. I'm like, I better not fucking die right now.
Suffocating.
Yeah, suffocating,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like out of control, feeling like there's no help.
Yeah. No way out.
There's no way out. There's no boat coming.
Lack of control. Yep.
Like,
No boat coming.
yeah, like am I gonna die here right now? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
in scarcity moments. And I feel like a lot of people who come from the other side of the tracks, that's your normal.
Why do you feel that way?
I mean, I think that's like kind of your circumstance.
Did you kind of grow up around that?
I grew up around people that worked really hard to not have that happen. But that doesn't mean that wasn't the case sometimes.
Yeah.
But like it was there's a lot of people that I know that I'm around in my family that like they don't come, there's no money. And so like I feel like the two things you normally see is like people who just believe that like it's going to be that way and that's how it is.
Like accepting it for being like the permanent,
Like
this is how it is forever, as opposed to like I
not
can change
yeah,
it.
like not to get into race in our podcast, but like that's a white person thing.
Which part?
Like having money. Like that could be like
yeah.
that would be like a comment.
Okay.
Or like you're
leading to the next point, mine.
Or-
It's perfect.
or I'll say so that's like a main thing, like it's for other people, not for you. I'll say the next thing is like lottery. Like the emphasis of like, oh, if you want to make it, it's only through literally the lottery, or like an entertainer or like a sport.
Right. So
Right?
you're
So, like-
completely giving that power to someone else.
You're completely like
You don't have control over it.
it's like that or nothing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll say like that's like the biggest thing is like,
Are there ever thoughts of money as bad? Like rich people are greedy or rich people are evil or
I would say, especially like in my generation, like there's definitely a section of people who just don't like money, who think money's evil, who don't like Jeff Bezos, who doesn't like Bill Gates, and who doesn't like anyone that's wealthy. And I see like the comments of like, oh, this person should just pay for like all the, and like I get it, like on the Twitter stream, like okay, cool, but like in reality is like, well, I don't hate Jeff Bezos for like building a business that everybody uses.
Right. So, yeah, I think that this
Like, so
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
before you start, I want me to finish.
yeah.
So I grew up around a lot of thoughts like that, and I was always the kid like, nah, what if? And that's what like where you might call me a devil's advocate. I just always see all sides.
Yeah. You weren't going to take that as your destiny.
No, I was rather like no, like I said, I feel like I'm like drowning.
You want to write your own story.
Yeah, like what's the point of like taking away ambition, taking away the
Right.
chance? And it's not really about money, but it's anything you want to attain.
Right.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be like, here's the book of where you go next based on the past. Like based on where you come from or your neighborhood or your ancestry. Like you didn't take that as this is my destiny. You're like, cool, now I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I feel like so many people just don't stop and think about what they want.
Why is
Yeah.
that so important to think about what you want?
I don't know. I feel like give yourself a fighting chance in life. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. So you brought up a few things. The first one that comes to mind is a few of the common negative thoughts that come around money. And so, for example, money is bad, or being rich is a bad thing. Being rich makes you greedy, or rich people are bad people.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people walk all over people or hurt people along their way up. There's a lot of negative connotation with having money. And I just want to point out that if you have negative thoughts about money, you will not attract money. I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. And I believe that the energy you put out comes back to you. So if you're putting out energy, even if it's just a thought, or you're chatting with a friend and you're, complaining about life or bitching about this or whatever it might be, that's what's going to come back to you in your life. So there's that part.
Okay.
And
Which I agree with, by the way.
yeah,
I think before we became friends, I think I had more of a lack mindset around money, not as abundant. I think I learned that from you for sure.
right. And I think that that's just something that, we don't really, until we, consciously think about it, a lot of things happen subconsciously. We don't even realize it.
Yeah, and really, I think also just being exposed to it.
Right. You didn't even know there was maybe another option or like like a whole other world of like, oh wait, look at all these thoughts. Like another one is a lot of people subconsciously were told, not even so they have subconscious thoughts as adults because as children they were told, or
XYZ.
for example, you will never amount to anything. You are dumb. You're stupid. You will never be successful. You're not worthy of successful. So sometimes when, let's say, you're not a good student or you got in trouble a lot with your parents or you were the bad kid or whatever it might be, and you weren't getting that positive reinforcement, that healthy emotional recognition, what happens is you create these thought loops in your head that say, I'm not worthy of success. I don't deserve success. I will never be able to achieve success. And the tough thing, Vince, is that a lot of times we don't even realize we're having those thoughts. And as we talked about,
How does one catch themselves in that thought loop?
the vibration in their bodies. So
What does
you
that
have
mean?
to be really, let me explain it, because this is really important. And I think it's a piece, not to blanket state, but I think a lot of men miss it because it has all to do with your feelings. So it's the vibration in your body. So in the beginning, we talked about what abundance feels like. Remember how hard it was for you even to describe sometimes? Like, that's because we don't really even necessarily, we're not as in touch with our feelings. And if we aren't as in touch with our feelings, we will never be able to get the results we want. So a lot of times we might have all the greatest thoughts in the world, but you know, you might be able to recognize your thoughts, but if you don't recognize how your thoughts are controlling how you feel, you can't skip the feelings part of the triad. It's thoughts create your feelings, which lead to your actions and your results. So remember, Vince, your feelings lead to your actions, which leads to your results. And, you know, for me, I have all of this in other areas of my life, like we talked about in the weight loss episode, you know, like feelings of rejection and abandonment, and all those things from childhood. So how I know, you said, how do we recognize when we're having these thoughts? You literally have to be so in touch with I call them vibrations in your body. And those are either positive or negative. So, you know, like when you're in flow state, you're having fun, maybe you're at the beach in Turks, whatever you're doing, and you just feel happy, peaceful, relaxed, at ease. That's a good positive vibration. And then you might have something else that comes up and, you know, all of a sudden you're feeling anxious or nervous. Maybe you got a bill in the mail, or maybe you lost a contract with a client, or whatever it might be. Those are just money examples. But like for me, it could be, you know, something happens with a friend, I make them upset, or a friend is just upset. And then I now feel this negative. I'm like a poorly, I sometimes am an empath and not in the best way, where I'll literally feel their negative emotions like they're my own. And so now that's a negative vibration, as opposed to like for me in flow state, when I'm like cooking or entertaining friends, or I feel a positive vibration. Does that make sense? Or is that something kind of crazy to you? The positive negative vibration thing. That's how they describe it in Law of Attraction.
No, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you always kind of know, like when you're in like a good positive, you know, it doesn't even need to be like you're crazy out ecstatic all day, but you could just be happy and calm, right?
Yeah. It's a difference. It's
Yeah.
like when people say like they didn't know how good they can feel. And we just did a weight loss episode, so if you made it this far, go check that one out. But it's like you don't know you can feel as good until you lose the weight.
100%.
It's the same thing mentality wise.
Yeah. And so, you know, exactly. And, you know, having a lot of money solves a lot of problems. And, you know, I'll be totally honest that, you know, by achieving some success financially, it eliminates like a lot of marital conflicts, fights, anxieties around money. It really does. And then there's the other benefit of that. We have the ability to provide a lot of jobs. We have the ability to donate to a lot of charities. We have the ability to take our kids on travel and experiences and expose them to things. We have the ability to maybe choose an organic, locally owned restaurant that might be more expensive than the franchise chain next door.
So even that is like an example of positive thoughts of money, right?
Oh, those are all
Like
positive thoughts.
how you think about it versus being the opposite. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, we can't go here. My husband doesn't save any dollars. Because that's the normal jargon, right?
Oh, Vince, that's 100%.
Yeah.
And that's, you know how many people, so you might say, so let's talk about that. What does it look like when you have those negative thoughts about money? So you just named a bunch, like that restaurant's too expensive. I don't have enough. We can never travel anywhere. We can't afford that trip. We'll never get to go to Europe. I'm never going to be able to afford those nice clothes like she has. Must be nice to get that fancy hairdresser. I'm just coming up with
all the things.
And so why is that bad, Vince?
Like why people thinking like that is bad?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the expert on this, but like I just think, like I don't know.
I'm like the not expert.
Well, one thing I've realized that like I'm very sensitive to like how other people view the world and like their reactions. So like for me, like when someone's like a Debbie Downer or like a negative person, it really like pisses me off or like puts me in a really weird mood.
Why?
I don't like hearing that shit. Period. Like just like it's just like
So what? How do you handle that, Vince? Let's say you're hanging out with people, and they start. Let's say you're in a group, and then like half the group just starts bitching about not having enough money or how maybe bad mouthing other people that have more. How do you take control of that situation and nip that in the butt? How do you handle that?
well, before I think what I would try to do kind of like class county, like try to like change the conversation or like
Yeah.
walk someone down a different or just agree with them like, yep, you're 100% right. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
probe them.
yeah, just like, and like it all sucks. Like it always will suck. Okay. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so like, I don't know. I just don't like it. It just kind of makes me feel weird. But you know, what I have been doing recently is just like completely avoiding all people who are like that.
Okay.
Like completely.
Okay.
Just because like I'm trying to get into a place of just pure optimism and positivity, especially like in my closest circles.
Yeah.
I have no time for anybody who's like thinks the world is gonna like, you know, like it's gonna end and all that stuff. Like I don't want to think about that on my Tuesday.
Well, and I think you make a good point as well. We do talk about this a lot, but it's because we feel so passionately that your inner circle of 5, if your reality isn't where you want it to be, you have to take a close, cold, hard, somber look at your circle of 5. I don't think, Vince, that there's a way to skip that step of having a life that you want, a life by design, we call it. If you don't have that life, you do need to think about who you're spending your time with. And even though we're in a pandemic and not all of us spend a ton of time in person, it could be who you text the most, who you call the most. You know what I mean? It even though you might think, oh, we just DM on Instagram. Well, if you just DM each other like negative memes or negative infographics, you're creating this cycle, a vicious cycle where your bond is based on negativity. So some in Womenville, a lot of times it's like gossip based.
yeah.
And your commonality is complaining about the same people.
Yeah. I think for another thing, it's so subtle.
Yeah.
I think when you start getting sensitive to negativity,
Give some examples of that. Subtle negativity, as opposed to like my more outgoing.
well, negativity speaks louder than positivity. So I would say that I'll say blanket thing, like 99% of you are experiencing negative friends and you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so subtle. I'll say most people, other than the intro of how's your day going, good, great, then the next conversation is negative based. Like think about it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like this is bad, this sucks, this could be better.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Oh, you see what's going on in the news? Like it's never like great, good, and let me tell you why it's amazing. And let me tell you why I'm continuing to be happy and excited. Like that's not the norm.
I feel like I am like that though.
I'll say you are.
Almost to the point where I'm like embarrassed by it.
Yeah, but like most people aren't, right? So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like it is subtle. Like
So,
you have like on the 5 thing. You know, I'm not saying you have to cut off all your friends, but like you
maybe
know,
set better boundaries.
better boundaries, lead by example. Like you know, the list of the things we can do another episode about your 5 friends. But it's just like I think the first step on your main point of like positive, negative, high vibrations, negative vibrations is like start becoming sensitive
Yes.
to like what people say around you and how they act on it, because it is subtle. like someone might not believe that you could do something. Like that's a negative thought because they're pushing their own insecurities on you, right? And so a lot of people don't do it because their dad's a trusted source or their friend's a trusted source. Like, so they're not gonna jump on the opportunity. But it's like, yo, they're nervous to do it. That's nothing to do with about you.
And you bring up a good point that the only person that's responsible for your feelings is you. So no one else can make you feel anything, which is tough because we grow up as kids like, Sally hurt my feelings or Timmy made me upset. Timmy can't make you upset. Sally can't hurt your feelings. You have full control and you are in control of your emotion. So if somebody else in your circle is, burnt out, exhausted, depressed, down, complaining, vocally, just bashing everything, playing victim mindset, nothing, they can't control anything, but everything's against them. You have to separate yourself enough from that to know that how someone else feels has nothing to do with how you feel. And you have to be able to, like, to your point, I know boundaries are really important for me with that because I do absorb the feelings of others. It's not a good thing. I'm working on it. I realize so often that how I feel, I realized I felt amazing until I started talking with that person. And then now I feel awful because I absorbed I took those emotions on like they were my own. So if you spend time with people, and today's topic is all about money, if you spend time with people that are thinking about or talking about how expensive things are, or they don't have enough, or their job is ripping them off and they're not making it, or they don't have enough clients, or, sales are down, or because of what's happening in the world, it's just not fair, I'm a victim, you're going to then absorb that because it's going to become more normalized to you that that's what's normal and that that's okay. And I don't think that should be normalized.
Yeah, it shouldn't, but it is, right? Yeah, I think it just takes more people who are just on the opposite. And even if they're not hearing in the moment, they hear you. Like if you're the positive person in your circle and someone's going through it, like I give every human 15 minutes to be upset and complain and be mad about something. But after that, you gotta get over it. Right?
Yeah, and we're not saying that you're not allowed to have negative emotions.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying like if you're the sounding board, like you're the positive, like don't not say something positive still, because like that could be like you're not going against this negative force, this darkness,
right?
And it's like don't be afraid to like say it because like they are hearing it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right, like just say it. They might not receive it in that moment.
I was just gonna say they'll receive it better even in later.
Yeah, and like if they don't ever want to receive it, and then you have to cut that person off. So we're not. So we talked about mindset.
I have
positive,
another
negative.
concept about it.
Oh.
Well, that you can tell me if you want to head there next. We can get to it later about what it looks like to think about things when you have lots of money.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Do you think that's a good next step?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that when we're trying to change our thoughts, again, to change our feelings, to change our results, it's helpful to know what people think about when they have plenty of money, so that even if you don't have plenty of money right now, you can start to slowly but surely learn how to think like you have it. So, for example, my goal is to make $1 million in a year. I haven't gotten there yet. But what I'm doing now is working towards thinking and acting as though I already have it.
Give us an example.
For example, something.
How do you know what it's like? You haven't made it. That's the question from the people who are listening.
All right. Well, let me answer it first, and then.
Okay.
But yeah, you can give me your devil's advocating in a minute. So, for example, when you have plenty of money, and by the way, this is just the time to say what we describe as plenty of money is different for everybody. And that's not, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know why some people think certain amounts is better than others. But let's just say, like we talked about the scorecard in the beginning, if you're not at your 8, 9, 10 of the scorecard, that just means that you don't have what you define as plenty of money. Okay, there's my disclaimer. Okay, we should do another episode about how the amount of happiness is small. It's just like after a certain amount, there's only very little increased happiness, but that's neither here nor
Unless
there.
money's your passion.
Right. Well, or like you're like me and it's just like a fun business game. But anyways, we'll get to that another time. But if you have plenty of money, you are not going to spend your time calling up your friends complaining about money or lack of. You're not going to say, gosh, why is my son calling in the middle of this important episode? So as a working mom, this is the part where you're like, if they leave a message, is someone alive? Not alive? We'll find out in a minute. Should I answer this and then we'll just cut this out? Hey, what's wrong?
With the one quick solo.
You still listening? Be sure to subscribe. I would hate for you to miss an episode of the Passion to Profit podcast.
This is Vince, one half of Passion to Profit. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, baby.
Some jazz today and you.
Okay. Let's go back to that important part. You like that, Ben?
That's so funny.
Why? I love that they're telling me.
What?
I love the first child rules follower that like lets you know they're leaving.
Oh.
Because I have some other relative kids. They just like peace out and don't let you know. I don't like that. The point I really want to drive home is that if you are trying to have thoughts of someone that has plenty of money, you need to remember that there are certain things that you might think and talk about, but once you have money, those are not things you're thinking and talking about. So for example, I want to make $1 million. So I need to lead my company as though we're already $1 million a year small business. That means that what we used to think about at $250,000, we don't still talk, act, and think that way. We've got to talk, act, and think like we already are making millions of dollars. That way, by the time it happens, we're already acting like that type of company. Another example is like just a person is, let's say you're out to dinner and you're complaining about how expensive something is. Or let's say you're getting ready to add on another position and you're like, well, I don't think, I'm going to just keep doing all the work myself. I don't want to outsource or delegate anything. Well, here's the thing. That's not thinking or talking or acting like someone that has money. Someone that has money loves to outsource, loves to delegate. They're not worried about, nickel and diming how much a curry goat box costs.
So you would say someone that has money loves to spend money.
Okay, that's actually a false, common misconception. People with plenty of money spend less money than people who don't. Because when you don't have a ton of money, you spend a ton of money trying to let everybody know outwardly that you've got tons of money. That's why you'll see people buying really expensive sneakers, but they don't necessarily have a savings account.
Yo, chill out on the sneaker community.
Sorry.
I'm here for you guys.
Sorry.
Keep going.
I could give some examples of overpriced manicures. Like people getting all like like no one needs a really fancy manicure if like you don't have savings. No one needs to go to, let's say buy the most expensive, what's a fancy clothing brand? I don't even know. Gucci. Like,
And buying a white t-shirt for $500.
Right.
If you don't have it, that's just weird.
That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with
a TJ Maxx, Walmart.
It's more a matter of if you're complaining about a curry goat box being $15, how did you need those sneakers? Did you need that expensive name brand shirt? I just feel like so if you don't have a ton of money, the other thing too is that you spend it before you can even like count to 10. It's just a very common thing that when you have plenty of money, you learn how to invest it, how to save it, how to put it, how to buy assets. Typically speaking, when you don't have a ton of money, the first thing you're doing is you're literally spending it all. That's why you see so many celebrities that like get rich quick and they lose all their money in 2 years. They didn't learn the tools of how to properly create assets.
Yeah.
And they were so quick to prove, okay, chains, jewelry, cars, shirts, blah, blah. And again, if you can afford all of those things, that's trips. You know how many travel bloggers I know that use their parents' money to go on trips to make fancy Instagram accounts, but they're literally generating no money from travel blogging. That's the most perfect example.
Yeah.
And anyways, that
We,
was
we just
the-
live in like such an image forward world where
yeah,
where what things look like are more important than what things actually are.
yeah,
And like I think, and listen, my advice around money, especially if you're young and you start making some serious dough, I feel like go be ignorant for like 2 months and see how it makes you feel.
How does it make you feel?
Well, I think everyone makes it different, but like
And you know the sneaker community better than I do. What do those sneakers make you feel?
well, if all right, if you have actually true passion and love for it, and like you've always been into sneakers, then like you're ecstatic, right? Because that's like your thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying the new Yeezy, the new Jordan, the new Gucci, just because like that's what's cool, so you can post on Instagram, is pretty empty.
And which you think happens more often?
Well, obviously the second one, I would assume.
And those people probably aren't at a 8, 9, 10 ranking of
Wealth.
Right.
No, not at all. But you know, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying for the people who are listening, who are you start making 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 220, you're making the money. Like, I did this. I went ahead and went to go spend it, and then I realized real quick that like, yo, like if I'm not into something, I'm not gonna really spend my money on it. And then like, what really happened was I realized that I care more about my money working for me than me working for my money. Because like
Mhm.
you made a comment about or a point about as soon as you get it, you spend it. And I would even argue that people who don't have money, going back to my first point, don't enjoy spending it.
Mm.
They spend it because they feel like they have to or they don't know what to do with it.
Mm.
And I think it's
Or
like
they don't want to lose it.
they don't want
So
to
like
lose it.
spend it before you lose it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like goes back to that scarcity mindset where it's like they don't even realize they're cutting themselves at the knees
Oh yeah.
every time.
Every time.
And it's like, it takes a while for you to step back and realize that you're doing it,
Yeah.
right? It's like you
And
know,
if your circle's doing it, it's normal.
it's normal.
And if you, like you kept saying, you said in the very beginning that our friendship exposed you to a different thought process or whatever else. So not only is it normal to you if that's what you're around, if you don't have other people in your circle that are from a different mindset, you also don't know any better.
Yeah,
You don't know different, you don't know any other alternative.
at all.
I think we forget how much we just naturally emulate the people we're around.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I'm saying? Like,
There's like an old saying that network marketers always fucking say.
What
It's
is
like,
that?
don't listen to people who don't have what you want, or like don't like, and they use it to manipulate people to like sign up for their stupid product, whatever. I'm sorry if you're like a network marketer, go ahead do your thing. But like, like they like you're very scammy, but like they always say that, and like they're right though,
yeah.
right? Like if all your homies, your best friends, the people you are in debt, trying to look cool, looking like they have money, like the amount of people that like go buy, and it's funny to me like how people spend their money. The amount of people that go buy a Lexus, which just is a Toyota by the way, and like have like a $900 a month payment for a Toyota,
Yeah.
right? I'm just like, you guys are playing a whole, keeping it with the Joneses,
Yeah.
I think
Remember
that's
when you
what's-
tried to get me to buy a cool car and I was like, I'm just going to get a Ford, Vince.
and now you keep sending me that same cool car that
I
you
know,
you
I
about to
want
buy.
it.
Isn't that hilarious? Funny how the tables have turned.
See how you emulate people you're around?
Yeah, and I'm different. I'm like, yeah, I'm driving a Volkswagen. I'm about to buy. I'm about to give me a little hatchback Volkswagen. you're like Vince, no, you need a Mercedes. I'm like, nope, I'm getting a Volkswagen. But it is funny though because it's like, what are your goals and what do you want to happen? But
Should we finish with a couple positive thoughts around money?
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say like I think we
Sorry.
talked a lot about the mindset,
Yeah.
but you have that whole list, and I want you to like go through that list,
Oh, yeah. All right.
like of real quick.
Sure.
Just say the statements, and then anything I don't agree with or I have questions about, I'll
Okay.
just like ask you.
So we're going to recap it. And a lot of it we've gone through, but
Yeah.
I know Vince is like, Liz, can you get to the point?
Well, I like the ones you said
I
I read
know.
earlier, so I just want you to just read them straight up.
Okay. Ready, guys? This is going to be good. Your thoughts create your feelings that lead to your results.
Mm-hmm.
What does abundance feel like? You're more likely to achieve money when you think thoughts that create that feeling of abundance. So, Vince, we talked about, I know that was harder for you. I want you to really spend time remembering and thinking about how it feels to have, I mean, you know me, and you know how when I feel these abundance feelings. So, once you know what that looks like, and even though it'll look different with you, you know what I mean? You have your own the happiness and the water and all that. You want to be striving to those feelings as opposed to the other ones. Okay.
So you just imagine those.
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally, from the law of attraction, learned it's called you set the intention.
Yeah.
And you
Just in the morning or all day?
I'm going to answer that. It's called segment intending. So every segment of your day. So when I wake up, before my workout, I say how I want this workout to feel. I want to crush it. I want to feel sore. I want to feel tired after this. I want to feel confident. Before I walk up into the podcast, I'm going to crush this episode. I'm going to see my bestie. I'm going to have fun with Kirk. Like, this is like all the things I want to feel at the end of this. And remember, Vince, I'm talking a lot about feelings, which I know you don't love that word, but I'm talking about feelings. And then after that, I might be like, we're going to have a meeting after this, and we're going to accomplish so much, and we're going to be efficient, whatever it is.
I call it calling your shot.
Okay.
So same thing.
Yeah. Tell me.
Did
you call your shot before you came up here?
Well, I have been calling. So, you know, I'm older now. I'm 24, getting old. But like, I was thinking about like when I was younger, like a lot of, I feel like my, speed
Yeah.
and the things that were coming used to come really fast and like happen a lot for me. And I was like, what was the difference between that and like now?
And
When I was like younger, I used to call out my shots.
really,
Yes.
give me an example of a shot you called out, Vince.
All right. I was like, I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm gonna get this big company in town as a client. Just said it, like to everybody. I'm gonna do this.
You
Right.
manifested. You stated, you clearly
Yeah.
laid out your intention.
Clearly under my attention. Imagine what it felt like you're saying,
Yep.
and just made up my brain that I was.
How
gonna
did
do.
that feel when you got that client, Vince?
Well, I called my shot and I got it.
How'd that feel?
Felt amazing.
But you felt powerful, in control, not helpless.
Well, to be honest, that was I almost didn't believe the shot. So when I got it, I was like, what the fuck? This is nuts.
So that's a thing where you've got to probably fight more than you realize, is that disbelief that you're able to achieve or worth it.
Well, yeah, like I think like saying it,
Oh,
think
yeah.
you can do it, and then actually getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you get a big client,
Oh, yeah.
like a big check, you're like, oh fuck, like I just actually.
It's why I keep
Like-
talking about making $1 million.
Yeah, like
The more you talk about it, the more it happens.
Yeah, like you feel good, you feel excited, like damn, I actually just got.
Oh,
X amount.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, 100%.
what the fuck? Like it's nuts. Like,
Yeah.
and so I've been
I never want it to be normal.
yeah, so I've been like calling shots out more like randomly, and like shit's been like happening. I'm like, oh, so yeah,
So then the
To
opposite,
that
which
point.
they teach you in law of attraction, is that if you start to have those negative vibrations, whether it's for you,
stomp them out.
you've got to no, but listen, you have to pause. You need to actually take a pause, look, and then literally call your shot again, and segment intend. You got to stop, shift your framework, and reset. You could even be within a meeting, within a dinner with your family. It could literally be within a situation.
Yeah, belief.
Yeah. But you have to actually stop and okay. Back to my little list.
I want to do an episode on belief next.
Good idea. All right. Money is bad. Rich people are evil and greedy. If you think that, you're probably not making a lot of money. I'm not worthy of success. And you guys, look, a lot of these, it's easy for me to type these in a notes on my phone. I have my own things that are hard to overcome. Like I will always in my head feel overweight, unathletic, and unwanted by social groups. So I work very hard on this. I'm a big proponent of therapy. So like if these things are hard for you, please go to therapy. Please see a professional. We're not here to like list it out in a quick little PDF like it's easy. Like these are big things. I don't have enough money. Again, if you just talk all the time about what you don't have, you're just then creating a life of lack, of scarcity. I don't have enough. Are your thoughts from a place of abundance and scarcity? So throughout your day, you have a thought, Vance. Pause. Is this abundant or fear-based? Very heated about this, you guys. What you think about returns to you in the universe. I mean, you guys, I manifested Vince as my friend. Point proof in the making.
Look at that. Lucky
I
you.
literally set the intention.
Lucky you.
Regret it, but just kidding. People with lots of money don't spend their time thinking about not having lots of money. And they don't worry about how they're going to pay their bills or how. You guys, I bought a house 4 times the amount of money of my other house. And I was like, for a split second, you have the split second moment where you're like, oh no, like why am I committing to this mortgage every month? But after that, once I signed the mortgage, I never once worried about paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's such a, sorry, I want to let you finish though. Sorry. But
No.
That's got me thinking about something.
Well, I can pay for my house because I don't worry about paying for my house.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's all for money I earn myself. I have to work for. I don't have a set paycheck. I don't have any sort of like long-term proof that I'll make that money.
Mm-hmm.
But by believing in my ability to do it, I'm able to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was about to say, it's such an important thing, I think, in making money to like increase your challenges, and you're more capable than you think. Now, some people, it's not for everybody, but like for most people, like you're like, you can't say blank thing. Like, oh, so somebody like, oh, I'm gonna sell my house in pandemic and buy a house 4 times more like Liz did, and then like think like it's all gonna work out, right? But I do think, you know, your body, your brain gets accustomed to the challenges you give it, and so like comfortability is what your body and your brain is fighting for, is ease.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if you're not growing, you're dying. And it's like that whole kind of like mentality around money is like, you know, 30 grand is good, but like you can't work at McDonald's your whole life. Like you're gonna have to like take a chance, take a step, change your situation.
Yeah.
I feel like the people that they're the happiest or the most successful financial wise too, are people who continue to raise the bar, who continue to take challenges, who continue to like change their mind, who continue to like raise their what's the word I'm looking for?
Trajectory.
Yeah, raise their standards and change their trajectory.
Yeah. A 1-sentence way of saying it is, I knew I'd be able to find the money to pay for my mortgage every month.
Yeah.
Even if it's begging Vince to let me chop kale, anything. I would just find ways.
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh God, what have I done? I don't want to think about it because
I'll
like, get into a quick panic about it.
Yeah, instead of spending 3 weeks, like spending 3 Mondays out of your 4 Mondays, think about how you're gonna pay for it versus then like actually going to like go pay for it. Like it's just such a,
and you know, it's like
such a mentality switch and that's what I'm saying. It's so subtle. Like it's not as drastic as maybe we're making it on the podcast right now, because I really do think a negative mindset and like
beliefs. I can't wait to do that podcast.
And beliefs like are just, it's so subtle.
Yeah.
Like it's not as blanket as we make it seem.
And the more you do it, the more subtle it gets because it becomes normal.
Well,
I don't consciously have these thoughts a lot of times.
Well, yeah, no, it is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's subtle. That's why I really want to like sell that down people, because like it's not apparent unless you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like when you start looking for it, you'll start seeing it.
Isn't it funny how you find what you're looking for?
Yeah.
I think what like they say in there's like is it Apollo 13 where basically they like just keep the moon in the window and we'll get there.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to get to, keep it in the window. I mean, we talked about that with our friendship, and it's like a silly example, but it is true. Like I was looking for Vince. I didn't know Vince existed, but I was looking for it. So if you're not actively I mean, people do this when they find love, when they find a house, when they find a job. If you don't have a clear vision of what you want and what you're looking for, you will not find it. Shouldn't I do a good job? Okay. Making money is selfish.
Again, such a bad way to think about money.
But a lot of people do. And here's the thing. If you're bad and evil, you'll be bad and evil with lots of money, and you'll be bad and evil without a lot of money.
Period.
If you're good and kind and nice, you'll be good and kind and nice with lots of money.
Mm-hmm. Period.
I'm not capable of earning massive wealth.
That's a big one.
Do you know people that maybe doubt their abilities?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're the first one to do it in your family.
Oh, yeah.
Or friend group. But, like, I don't know. I also feel like you're the first one. You believe it more than everybody else anyway, too.
I don't know. I mean, I'm the first female entrepreneur in my family. I just think there's certain things that
So you saying
someone
you
has
don't
to be first.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You don't think you believed it more? Like, I'm like the first in my group. I think I believe it more than anybody.
Yeah, I definitely
That I'm
believed. I
more-
never doubted my
I'm
ability.
more than capable.
Oh, yeah. And worthy.
You know, I think what gets weird is like there's a lot of things you don't foresee that come with it, and then that's what gets hard to handle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like making money is one thing, but then if you didn't learn how to be financially intelligent and how to invest and save and buy assets,
That's
then the
another
money
thing.
is worth nothing.
Yeah, you just as fast as you got, as fast as you lose.
Yeah.
it.
The more money we have, the more fun we can have. You guys, if I was going to get a tattoo, this is what I would get a tattoo of. The more money we make, the more fun we can have. And fun is one of my core values in my company. In my friend group, I'm fun. Like, I love to throw parties. I love to go out. I'm an extroverted social person. So I just think the more money you have, the more fun you can have. We just went to Turks. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having fun. And I think that, again, that's a positive thought about money.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, that leads me to make more money so that I can have more fun. I'm going to Mexico with my family next month. We're going to have so much fun. We wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, money is affording us the ability to have all that fun.
Mm.
And I think that that's a good thing about money, that you should maybe replace, if you have one of those negative thoughts about money, replace it with that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
The more money we have, the more people we can help.
Facts, not fiction.
So in my mind, people, a lot of people need money right now. And
More than ever.
more than ever, there's a lot of communities that really need money. There's a lot of small business owners that really need money right now. And if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to support all of those organizations, people, places, destinations, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So having money allows you to help more people.
Period. End
Look
of
at how
story.
much you've helped your family.
Period. End of story.
Isn't that an amazing thing about money? The more money we have, the more jobs we can create. This is my other favorite one. I love creating jobs. I would love to create tons and tons of jobs. And I love to work. So that's probably why I enjoy creating jobs. I think a lot of people, if they have a craft that they're good at, they love to work and share that with others. And I just think it's so fun to provide someone else the opportunity to get paid doing what they love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like to do that?
Yeah. I think you have
I have
more.
one left. The more money we have, the more problems we can solve in the world. At the end of the day, nothing solves problems better than money. Nothing. Most problems that you could think of right now could be solved fastest, easiest with money. For example, you are a Black-owned small business. You've had a lot of people coming to you to help you. Wouldn't money be the fastest, easiest way to help your business right now?
Yeah, I think simple answer is yes.
I just think that
100%.
that's an example. And again, this is like a pick your palette. That's just an example of a positive thought about money. Because if you were saying, I think even in the very beginning, well, if you only have the negatives, how do you know what to think positively? That's a positive thought that money can solve a lot of problems.
Period.
A lot
End of
of
story.
problems.
So many problems.
So many problems.
Like, there's problems getting fixed right now because someone put money out.
100%. There's no better, easiest, faster way. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you think the vaccine came about? Lots of money.
Lots of money. I would say on that, a couple of my things is like, one, just start looking at money as a tool. I think.
Don't put so much weight into it, you mean? Like
Yeah.
emotional weight or...
Yeah,
It's
you
just
said
a
earlier
tool.
off camera, you were like something like it's just a piece of paper. It
yeah,
is.
money is
Like,
just a tool.
It's like literally a tree. So it's like
Literally.
it's a tool to be used.
It's not a sign of your worth.
No.
Your bank account is not your worth to me. Like, I
Exactly.
would love you, Vince, with $0 to 10 million. That doesn't change. Your worth to others doesn't change.
Yeah. Second thing is stop counting pockets.
Talk about that.
It's like that's a little slang for y'all.
Why don't you explain it to those that
Just
might
start
not-
watching people's pockets. Start counting people's dollars. I think a lot of people that like, you know,
I
have
thought it was
negative.
called pocket watching.
That is, but counting pockets. That's how I say it. But it's just like, yeah, they're pocket watching. They want to know, like, stop being so worried about what other people have. That makes you feel insecure. You know, like if it gets you excited and you want to learn, that's a different thing. But if you're watching podcasts like, oh man, he just bought this or she just bought that, like how much money are they making? Like, wow, I'm not making that much money. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's such a bad mindset, and I think that stops you from getting to what you want. And I feel like a lot of people who don't have a lot of money or don't come from a lot of money run into that issue a lot.
Victim mindset.
It's not just a victim mindset. I think just
Negative.
just not focused, not clear.
Yeah, stay in your own lane.
Yeah, like not everyone can be a multi-millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a point
But-
about wealth to bring up.
But that doesn't mean that you can't make a lot of money for you and manage your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's so funny. Like people see people with nice cars and they like think they're millionaires. Like, nah, bro, you can make 150 and have a Lamborghini.
Especially in West Michigan.
Yeah,
We
like
just talk about that.
yeah, it's just like how do you spend your money? Like,
Yeah.
what do you spend it on? How do you live your life? Is more part of the money side. We're not financial experts, but like I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
you know, stop pocket watching, stop counting people's pockets. Like just focus on yours.
Do you feel that energy, guys?
And then last thing, hold
yeah,
on,
go
am I done
ahead.
yet? You trying to cut
That's
me off?
No, I'm sorry.
Trying to cut me off at the last bit. Why you do that to me for?
I just remembered something. I was excited.
Sorry. Get more rich friends. Period.
Why?
I don't know. It's like it's fun to spend money with people who make money.
It's true.
Like it's so like being the person in the room that has the money. Like I always take care of people, so it doesn't matter. But like if they can't handle it, it just makes you feel weird. Like you know, if you're like, oh, I'll buy dinner for everybody, and then like that one or two people are weird about it. Now you feel weird.
Yeah.
When you're just literally like not doing it for credit, not doing it for acknowledgement, you're just letting them know, like, hey, you gotta bring out your wallet tonight.
yeah.
I got it. But that's a good.
Unless we're in another country and the credit card doesn't work all of a sudden.
Oh my god, I was so
You
embarrassed.
guys.
Oh my God. But like,
I was like, did it not work or did he not even try?
no, I was swiping that motherfucker like crazy.
Remember after you made me buy the
Yeah.
expensive champagne?
Wait. Liz, you do this funny thing where you like change
Alright, I wanted to
change
buy.
the stories up. Like
you empowered
I did not
me.
empower anything. You were like, I want to get a bottle of champagne. I'm like, get a bottle of champagne. That's all I said.
He empowered me to buy.
And
it.
you're like, oh, should I go for? No, I'm not going for the cheap one. Should I?
First
Next
of
thing
all,
you know, it's $1,000 bottle of Dom.
no, it wasn't $1,000.
Talking
Rich,
about,
it was not 1,000.
and then like Vince swipes that card. I'm like,
Rich,
ah!
Rich, shh, earmuffs, Rich. I
Yeah,
have a point about wealth I want to make, but I will wait till you're done though. I just want to forget it.
Oh, yeah, like I said, it's like, you know, getting money with people who are getting money is just an experience that's must be lived at least once.
You
in
know
life.
what I thought was helpful having some exposure to people with money growing up is it took it kind of normalized it. And it made it not so it didn't put so much weight into it. It was just a thing. And my worth wasn't dependent on it's okay if I don't have it. It was just it is what it is and that's okay. And it also opened me up to what's possible. And if you don't know what's possible, it's going to be really hard for you. It's going to be harder for you. It's harder to create something that you don't know exists than to strive for something you've already seen examples of existing.
Oh, this is, yes. That's the one, Kara, by the way.
So I just feel like if you have the benefit of exposing yourself to people that, let's say it's just like, for example, in the business world, if there's someone whose business is where you want your business to be, spend time with that person, mentor them or work with them, have them be your mentor. The last most important thing I wanted to say is that wealth is not something that is a piece of wealth is not a pie where after 8 slices it's all gone.
Yeah, no.
If Vince takes 4 pieces of the pie, that doesn't mean there's only 4 left for me. I'll just make another pie.
Yeah, yes.
So wealth is
They're
not
literally printing money.
literally. which we won't get into our thoughts on
Yeah,
that.
but-
But wealth, so someone else's wealth and success has nothing to do with yours, other than it should excite you and make you excited, and you should cheer them on. And that's just me being. You
Yeah,
should be excited for
that's
them.
that pocket watching.
Okay. So how we both approach that differently, but them getting something doesn't mean you can't now have that. And I think too often, but that's to your point about when you see someone else get something and then you're like,
Feel weird about it, insecure about it.
or you pretend to be complaining about it to make you feel better about it.
Subconsciously,
Yeah.
they're like, that's a tell about something about you. I'm not gonna get into what it could be, but like, that's a tell. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel that way, like jealous or envious, or
Yeah.
It's
It's
like-
pointing, it's shining a light on their insecurities.
like you want to be that person.
It's shining a
No, I
light.
don't. Yeah, you do. I wouldn't bug you.
There's something about them that you wish you had.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all go through this. We're all humans.
You know the craziest thing
You
is?
never do.
I've never been jealous in my whole life. I can honestly say, hand on the Bible, I've never been jealous of anybody in my whole life,
That's a whole interest. That's a topic for another day.
or envious, ever.
That's-
It's such a foreign way of like thinking for me. Like I never thought that way.
I love that though. You stay in your own lane.
Yeah,
Why are you always pocket watching all the time then?
I don't pocket watch. People pocket watch me. Send me messages like, "Oh, I thought you had this." How you
Oh,
gonna tell me
really?
what you thought I had? Anyway,
Really? That's funny.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, wow, there's people that know more about my finances than I do. It's
That
crazy.
is a little irritating. All right. Well, guys.
That's why I
I've
don't post,
said a
that's why I
lot-
don't post anything on Instagram. Anyway,
Yeah. That's funny because, so for me, it's like, I'm not going to like hesitate to show my life in fear of how someone else might feel about it.
oh yeah, no, it's not a fear thing. Just like,
Yeah, you're private.
yeah, super private.
I built a public brand. So, we have different approaches.
Yeah, we do.
Thank-
Anyway, guys,
Thank you for today.
Liz, thank you. I learned a lot about money today.
That was
Hope-
a good talk. Got
Hope
me
you guys.
fired up.
Oh, sorry. Well, hope you guys did too.
Did
Fired up.
Did it give you some happy, positive vibrations?
Oh, I think my bank account went up at least 30%.
There we go. All right, guys. See you later.
Everybody.
You gon' learn this jazz today. Yes, you going to learn this jazz. Ooh, I even taught your girl some jazz yesterday. True.